Hey there, everyone, and hope everybody doing good. I know I didn't let y'all know I was going live. I didn't know I was going to go live, so early. But just want to go ahead on and do a content on. We following the case. Letecia Touch. Um, she the stepmom again, and this day 17. So I'm gonna go ahead on and do it today. And here we go, y'all. I'm gonna try to get some of these commercials out of here.
Bad, and you want to know about that ahead of time, and I've already provided the response. Okay. So we have what we have. I can't change it.
A record, Your Honor, okay. Why I'm bringing it up.
No, I understand, but none of us here can change the facts. They are what they are. I just have to try and deal with them and craft a solution on the fly. So so she's probably not going to be on the stand before noon, right?
I don't think so. I've heard her stand at 1:30.
Okay. So maybe we have the jury come back a little bit later so that we've got about 15 minutes before, say like 1:45. We all come back at 1:30 and say, what's up? What happened?
I would prefer if we could do it 2:00 and then I can meet with her.
Well,
at either 1 or 1:30 or something like that, because
I think we're
do this in 15 minutes.
If I could get a word in just for a second, I think we're putting the cart before the horse. I think Mr. Clark is going to be on the stand for longer than we anticipate anyway.
Okay.
And so I think we'll probably be closer to the end of the day anyway. Maybe we could just break early and discuss it.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Kind of summation.
Okay.
We'll discuss rather than the effort to proceed.
Can you get the summation to them by 1:30?
I can.
Okay, let's do that. All right. So aside from that, is there anything else that we need to address? Prosecution?
No, Judge.
Defense?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's go ahead and bring the jury in. Your investigators. So you're investigators, right? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay, that's fine. No, they're coming in.
Waiting on the jury to come in, y'all.
All rise for the jury, please. I'll be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You'll notice that now that it's summer, we do have the heat working, so it's a whole lot better. But let me start with the question that I've asked every other day, and that is, has anything occurred since we were last together that causes any of you to believe you could not continue to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case? If so, please raise your hand. No response? All right. Prosecution, call your next witness, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would call Kevin Clark.
Mr. Clark, if you would step forward and raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand. Please watch your step as you step into the stand.
morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well.
So you've obviously testified a couple of previous times. Just a reminder that you're still under the same oath that the court swore you to at the beginning. Just to refresh everyone's memory, remind everybody your name and who you work for.
Good morning. My name is Kevin Clark, C-L-A-R-K, and I'm the Director of Crime Strategies and Intelligence for the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office.
How long have you been in that role?
Just over 2 years.
What kind of training and experience do you bring to allow you to be in that position?
So I've been a intelligence analyst for 20 years now. I got my start active duty Air Force. I was an intelligence analyst specializing in signals intelligence analysis. I did 9 years of active duty, and during that time, I received beginner and intermediate and advanced signals intelligence analysis training. After we got here to Colorado, we decided to make it our home, so I got out and I was a defense contractor for a little over a year. First for a large company, Lockheed Martin, and then second for a smaller company on Team Linquist. I then gained employment with the Colorado Springs Police Department as a senior criminal intelligence analyst. And I did that for about 7.5 years. And then I've been with the District Attorney's Office for the last 2 years. So to culminate 20 years, very briefly, during that time I've earned an Associate's of Applied Science degree in Communication Applications Technology. I earned a bachelor's degree in Homeland Security, and then on to a master's degree. And then since I already had the degree, I went back using my GI Bill to earn undergrad certificates in digital forensics, cybercrime, and I'm currently working on database management. I've also attended numerous law enforcement sponsored trainings. If I can refer to my resume real quick, I can go through those briefly.
Sure, yeah.
So I've all of these are at least 1 week long as I go through. I attended the Criminal Intelligence Analysis Training course in Denver, cell phone data and mapping course held by Police Technical in Denver. I'm Terrorism Liaison Officer certified by the Colorado Information Analysis Center. In 2015, I attended a course held by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for investigative strategies for child abduction cases. I've completed call detail records and mobile forensic analysis 1 and 2 held by Geotime. I've completed the FBI's first responder course, which was online. I've completed level 1 and level 2 of the FBI's cellular analysis survey team courses. In 2017, I attended a training held by the DEA on detecting misleading behaviors in investigations. And then I've completed a training by the National White Collar Crime Center on internet investigations and intelligence. And those are the most applicable ones.
Okay. Who were you employed by at the time that the investigation got started on the Stauch's disappearance?
The Colorado Springs Police Department, where I was a senior intelligence analyst in V&I.
How did you get involved in this investigation?
It was Saturday, February 1st, and I received a phone call from then Lieutenant Mahalko, Mitch Mahalko, asking if I'd be willing to come temporary duty, TDY, to the command post for the next 30 to 60 days.
And when you say Lieutenant Mitch Mahalko, is that the same Commander Mitch Mahalko that testified for us? I can't even remember how many weeks ago now.
It was, yes.
Okay. Have you testified as a expert witness?
I have.
How many times?
So this is my 30th time testifying. In El Paso, Teller, Fremont County, and then subpoena testified in a couple other counties later this summer. And out of the 30, I think there's only 2 where I wasn't endorsed. One was in front of a grand jury for an organized crime case, and the other was for a social media thing I did.
So at least 28 times of expert testimony?
Yes.
Each one of those times that you named off several counties, are those Colorado counties?
They are.
All of your expert testimony, has it been in the state of Colorado?
Yes.
Okay. What disciplines have you testified as an expert in Colorado?
Call detail records analysis, cell phone analysis, cell phone location analysis, whether that's the device itself or some of the apps that are on the cell phone. And then that covers the wide range of things I do.
Okay. As it relates to your training experience and education and your application to this particular case, did you use skills as it relates to cell phone data analysis?
I did.
And then also skills as it relates to crime analysis?
I did.
At this time, Your Honor, I'd move to qualify Mr. Clark as an expert witness in cell phone data analysis and crime analysis.
Defense? Objection. Witness will be so qualified. Go ahead.
Mr. Clark, I want to start out with just some basic stuff. Did you get a chance to go out to 6627 Mandan Drive, the location where the Stauch family was living in January of 2020?
I did.
Is that location in El Paso County, Colorado?
It is.
Did you learn some biographical information about Gannon specifically?
I did.
His birth date?
Gannon was born September 29th of 2008.
How old was he on January 27th of 2020?
He was 11.
We've heard a lot of testimony over the weeks of this trial. Did you have a chance to look at the CAST report, the cellular analysis? You said all the letters for it, the FBI's CAST team, to see that route that Mr. Hoyland testified to from Colorado Springs down to Pensacola, Florida?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Do you have access to open sources like Google Maps?
I do.
Can you use Google Maps to tell the distance in miles from one location to another?
Yes.
Did you do that as it relates to the distance from 6627 Mandan Drive to the Escambia River Bridge where Gannon's remains were found?
I did.
How many miles was that?
It was 1,371 miles.
We heard some testimony when Harley Hunt was on the stands, and there was an exhibit admitted, exhibit number 205. There was some question about the maybe Nicole as it relates to the defendant's phone. Do you remember that testimony?
I do.
Does your expertise in cell phone data analysis allow you to explain that issue to the jury?
It does.
Would it help to pull that exhibit up on the TV?
Sure, it'd probably help the jury.
Okay. All right, if I could have the TV turned on, I'm going to pull up People's Exhibit number 205.
Are you doing this from the podium?
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Clark, I've got the first page of Exhibit 205 up on the screen behind you, or to your right, I guess. And you can see, let me zoom in actually a little bit on this. And we're looking at the participants section of that first page. There's two phone numbers there. Are you familiar with those two phone numbers?
I am.
The first phone number that ends in 7460, who do you know that phone number to belong to?
That belonged to the defendant while in Colorado.
And then the other phone number that ends in 3486, who do you know that phone number to belong to?
It belongs to Harley Hunt, the defendant's daughter.
So as we look at where it says maybe Nicole, there's an asterisk there. Can you tell the jury how that particular maybe Nicole is created in a phone?
So this is a iPhone function, specifically a Siri function. And so when you activate a phone, there's a place to insert a name. You name the device. And at the time of activation, this field wasn't completed. And so Siri gives a best guess as to what the name could be. The reason why you see daughter under Harley Hunt's number is because this download is from the defendant's phone. And so it's from the defendant's phone's perspective. And so all the contacts with associated numbers in the defendant's phone is how they were named and stored. And so Harley Hunt is the defendant's daughter. And so the defendant named Harley's phone number daughter in her phone. Now the maybe Nicole part is Siri just combing through trying to insert something. And that's why when if you look at the download from Harley's phone, it won't say maybe Nicole. It'll say mom. It'll have however that contact is named in the other person's phone. But all that is maybe Nicole. That's not something that the defendant did. In fact, it's because the defendant did not do something when activating the phone that it's Siri's best guess as to what the phone's name could be.
So just to put a fine point on it, the defendant then didn't put the name Nicole in to name herself in her phone?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, you can turn off the screen for just a moment.
Okay.
Thank you. We mentioned just a moment ago that you had gone out to 6627 Mandan Drive. Did you have a chance to look at surveillance video from a neighbor's house, 6626 Mandan Drive?
I did.
First of all, let's talk about how was that surveillance video or Ring doorbell video obtained?
The homeowner provided a copy of a week's worth of video surveillance from the Ring doorbell.
Was that week's worth of video surveillance come through to see if there was anything relevant on it?
Yes.
Did you have a chance to review that footage yourself?
I did.
The footage that you reviewed, did it appear to be accurate, meaning that it's showing what's happening in the neighborhood in that general area?
It is.
Is it fair and accurate representations then?
Yes.
And then as far as timestamps, when you have a Ring doorbell or different types of doorbell cameras, is there a way for the system itself to record date and time information?
There is. If it's not on the screen itself, it's in the way the file is named. It'll be named with the day or the month, the day, the year, and then a time.
What was the specifics as it relates to this video? Was it specifically provided, or was the file name, did it include that information?
It was in the file name.
Okay. I put up there several discs, People's Exhibits 212 through 219. Do you see those?
I do.
Are these videos from that 6626 Mandan Drive doorbell video?
They are.
All fair and accurate?
They are.
At this time, I'd move for admission of 212 through 219.
Defense. Exhibits 212 through 219 will be admitted.
And permission to publish starting with 212, Your Honor.
You may go ahead.
So we're going to play now 212 on the screen here. Before I start playing it, can you give just a quick summary of what the jury's going to see in this particular video?
So 6626 Mandan Drive. If you're standing at what was the Stauch residence, which was 6627, and you're looking at it, 6626 is going to be behind you and slightly to the left. And so this is across the street. And so what you're going to see is you're going to see the defendant and Gannon return home on Monday, the 27th at 2:20 p.m. And you'll see the red truck back into the driveway.
Okay. And so just so we get oriented, there's a pointer there. Will you point out 6627 Mandan Drive?
Right here with the black Volkswagen Tiguan in the driveway.
Is that the defendant's Volkswagen Tiguan?
It is.
And then is the pickup truck also identified there?
It's right in front of the house alongside the curb at this time.
Okay, let's go ahead and play this now.
Come on, y'all. It's look like they pull up at a car. Is that a car? Look like a car, a yellow car pulled up. Not sure.
So again, for reference sake, we had previously had some video admitted of 6643 Mandan Drive. Do you remember that video?
I do.
including a zoomed in image from basically the same time as this video, where you see a shadow come down from the passenger back seat area of that pickup truck.
That's correct.
Is that actually caught on this video?
Unfortunately, it's not.
How is this video? Is it motion detected basically?
It is. It's motion activated based on the sensitivity of the Ring doorbell, how those are set up.
And so, does this video cut off just before we see the persons getting out of the vehicle from that other address, 6643 Mandan Drive?
It does. The video only captures for 1 minute and 9 seconds, and we're still about 30 seconds.
Living in the South is great. I love it.
It's kind of boring today, I guess, because the person who's supposed to take this stand is not going to take it. So I can understand that. So I won't be able to catch it until I get home, y'all, because it's going to happen at 2. And I'll be at work.
Right in the middle of that garage area, correct?
Let's see what they doing next. Hope everybody doing okay. You got some coffee? Anything?
So let me just go back to I need to do something with that video. Sorry, Judge. So we pointed out where the Nissan Titan pickup is. There's a white vehicle in the driveway there. Whose vehicle is that?
That's Harley's Volkswagen Jetta.
And then the Tiguan, is that still in the garage?
It is.
Okay. And then moving on to People's Exhibit 215, just describe what we're going to see in 215.
This is a minute later, and the Tiguan pulls out of the garage.
Y'all can't see it. Okay.
Pausing it while we had a little commotion here. All right, so point out while we've got this paused, the Nissan Titan, is it still parked out in front of the 6627?
It is. It's pulled forward slightly, so it's right there. There's Harley's Jetta, and there's the Tiguan.
You picked up the Tiguan pronunciation now too. That motion that we see in the entrance to the garage, can you point out where that was? And I'll just pull it back just a little bit.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. You watching Letecia Trout live stream day 17. Thanks for being here. Oh, well, come on, y'all. Let me skip a little bit. They're going too slow, y'all. Well, really,
So the headlights that came on inside the garage, is that from the defendant's Tiguan?
It is.
And then the next few videos that we're going to see as it relates to that Volkswagen Tiguan, does that coincide with some cast testimony that Special Agent Hoyland gave us last week?
It does.
Generally describe what this is showing as it relates to that correlation with Special Agent Hoyland's testimony.
So the Tiguan's going to leave for 10 minutes and come back. During that 10 minutes, the telematics, the GPS collected off the Tiguan records data locations, as well as the Life 360 app that's on the defendant's phone, recording GPS locations, and they're traveling together.
Okay. And is there going to be a trip essentially that the Tiguan leaves 6627 Mandan, drives up to Bradley Road, and then basically returns right back to the house?
That's exactly what it does.
We're going to pull up, just so you can point that out before we watch those videos, Mr. Hoyland's report, which was Exhibit 293. Let me get that pulled up.
Let's see, can I get turn that music out. Thank you. What I try to do is,
So we're looking at page 28 of Special Agent Hoyland's report. Is this basically what you're talking about there?
Correct.
So using the pointer, just point out what we're going to see and how it correlates with this particular page of Special Agent Hoyland's report.
So what you see is you see the Tiguan depart the residence at 6:22. It begins collecting Life 360 points off of the phone. You have AT&T call detail records data, and it goes up to Bradley, and then turns around and comes right back to the house.
And so are we seeing in these next videos basically just the vehicle leaving 6627 Mandan Drive and then returning to 6627 Mandan Drive in correlation with what we see on this map?
That's correct.
Okay. We're going to go to 216 now. Give the date and time of what we're going to see on People's Exhibit 216.
So this is Tuesday morning. We're now at 6:21 in the morning.
On January 28th?
On January 28th, yes.
I was sick, can I get the pictures for y'all, okay? Okay. What I'm going to do right here, let me see, can I find some photos, y'all? Hold on for a minute. For y'all, so we can see them, you know what I mean? Because I've rushed in here to catch this case. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. Hold on, I'm going to go here. Oh, here we go. Let me see. Exhibit. Let me see. Okay, hold on, y'all. So I can let y'all see what's going on. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Man. I know that could be bored for Tisha to sit there and just can't talk. You know what I mean? Let me put it right here, y'all, for you. Because I'm right here. Oh, Lord. Let me share this with y'all. Hold on for a second. So y'all can see. Okay, y'all. Let me see. Okay. So I'm gonna go back up here. I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this with y'all, okay? I'm gonna share this page right here. Right here. I'm gonna see, can I put it back on the part with the car going in it isn't, it is it, yeah. Okay, let me put it on the part where he was backing up. Let me hide this. Backing the car in. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put yeah. Yeah, hold on for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna put it right here. Here, okay? Here we go.
We're going to go to 216 now. Give the date and time of what we're going to see on People's Exhibit 216.
So this is Tuesday morning. We're now at 6:21 in the morning.
And for context purposes, is this basically the next morning after the defendant reported gaining missing?
I love y'all, because I ain't see nothing.
So we're looking at page 28 of Special Agent Hoyland's report. Is this basically what you're talking about there?
Correct.
So using the pointer, just point out what we're going to see and how it correlates with this particular page of Special Agent Hoyland's report.
So what you see is you see the Tiguan depart the residence at 6:22. It begins collecting Life 360 points off of the phone. You have AT&T call detail records, data, and it goes up to Bradley, and then turns around and comes right back to the house.
And so are we seeing in these next videos basically just the vehicle leaving 6627 Mandan Drive and then returning to 6627 Mandan Drive in correlation with what we see on this map?
That's correct.
Okay. We're going to go to 216 now. Give the date and time of what we're going to see on People's Exhibit 216.
So this is Tuesday morning. We're now at 6:21 in the morning.
On January 28th?
On January 28th, yes.
And for context purposes, is this basically the next morning after the defendant reported gaining missing on the evening of January 27th?
It is.
And now we're going to move on to People's 217. What are we going to see in People's 217?
You're going to see the defendant in the Tiguan return to the residence at 6627 Mandan Drive.
Essentially after going up to Bradley and then returning back?
Right, 10 minutes has lapsed.
Yeah, see the light where the light blinking at? I don't think y'all can see it right there with a bright light on the film. That's a car.
Is that the Tiguan backed into the driveway at 6627 Mandan Drive?
It is.
Why is the sound so horrible on these videos? Do you know that?
Wind. I mean, it's fairly expensive security device. It's supposed to capture, about 10 feet of someone coming up to your house. So for the long distance stuff, it's not the best.
Moving on to People's Exhibit 218. As I'm pulling that up, describe to the jury what they're going to see in 218.
The garage door will be open, and you'll see movement inside the garage.
Y'all see the light? You can tell it's truck lights. Somebody coming around the corner right there.
I'm going to pull that back up so you can point out exactly where you see them. So I've got it paused at 1 minute and 6 seconds, and it's a 1 minute 9 second video. Point out where you're going to see them moving inside.
Right
Yes.
here, we get the best view.
And is it basically, does it appear that somebody's walking from inside the garage back to the Tiguan?
It does.
Just there at the very end?
Yes.
And then moving on to 219, as I'm pulling that up, describe to the jury what they're going to see in 219.
The Tiguan backs into the garage.
Look like the video. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it now. It look like I see two cars. With two lights. Uh-oh.
And in your reviewing surveillance, we can take the TV down. Thank you, Judge. In your reviewing the surveillance video to try to find relevant portions of video as it relates to the investigation, was it typical for the defendant to back vehicles into the driveway or into the garage?
It was not.
When was the time frame of when that activity becomes more prevalent?
It started happening Monday and Tuesday.
So January 27th and 28th,
And 28th, yes.
coinciding with the time that Gannon goes missing and then is reported as a runaway?
That's correct. Most of the time it's just driven straight in.
Well, we had some testimony and some phone calls that were collected from Special Agent Andrew Cody as a result of wire intercepts. Do you remember that testimony?
I do.
Did you have a chance to go through the the defendant's Celebrite download, the download that we heard testimony of, that you can pull data from the phone itself?
I did.
Before I get into a specific item, was the defendant a fairly prolific user of her cell phone?
Yes, lots of activity.
All times of the day, essentially?
And sometimes at night, yes.
Was there a period of time when there was an abnormal lack of use of her cell phone?
There was.
What time and date was that?
This was Monday, the 27th, late morning into early afternoon. It was about a 4-hour period of no activity.
So does that coincide with the time frame of when the defendant and Gannon left the residence roughly 10 in the morning to go to Petco and were gone, and then they returned at about 2:20?
That does encompass that time, yes.
Is there a period of time when they're back at home after returning from Petco, that Petco run, where there's still a lack of cell phone activity on the defendant's phone?
There is.
Did that appear to be unusual based on her prior usage?
It did.
Okay. As it relates now to the those wire collected phone calls and those specific calls about fakepolygraph.com, did you find anything in the defendant's cell phone download that coincided with attempts to
Excuse me,
create a
guys.
fake polygraph report?
I did.
How did you find that information?
In the web search and web history portion of the cell phone download, I can see all the searches made and then the websites visited.
And so just for context purposes, when we were talking about the cell phone usage on the 27th and 28th, that particular phone, we heard testimony from Commander Mitch Mahalko that it was seized on January 29th. The testimony that you're talking about now, as far as it relates to the fake polygraph information, what phone is that specifically?
This is going to be the defendant's third phone, the one that we took in South Carolina.
Okay. And we had testimony about that phone being downloaded as well, correct?
Correct.
And so did you review that, that information?
I did.
You should have up there with you People's 692 in a sleeve. Do you have that?
I do.
What is People's 692?
It is a visualization of the notes section, as well as some web activity from the defendant's South Carolina phone, the third phone.
Does this information correspond or correlate to that testimony that we had from Special Agent Cohen about the fake polygraph phone calls that we listened to a couple of weeks ago?
It does.
The dates of those particular wire intercepted calls, what date was that?
That was February 18th of 2020.
And can you tell, when you look at this information, the note that was created in the phone, what date that note was created?
It was created the next day, February 19th, 2020.
And then as it relates to web searches, is that the following pages after the first page of this document?
The next 3 pages, yes.
How many total pages are we talking about on this document?
4.
Okay. What are the web search dates as it relates to the note that was created, as you said, on February 19th?
It was 2 days after the note was created on February 21st of 2020.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of the information you found on the defendant's South Carolina seized phone as it relates to this fake polygraph information?
It is. It's an exact screen capture of what I see.
Okay. All right, at this time, move for admission of 692.
Exhibit 692 will be admitted. Go ahead.
And like to play it on, or push this up on the screen, Judge.
Go ahead.
And so, Mr. Clark, I've got the first page, page 104 of People's Exhibit 692 on the screen. Would it be easier for me to zoom in on half the page first and then go through it as you describe what we're looking at, or what's your preference on it?
That'd be fine. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna zoom this a little bit.
And we'll walk you through a few easy steps to finish your return. To have someone guide you, call us at 1-800-765-4065.
So we've got the top half of the left side of that page on the screen right now. Tell the jury what we're looking at there.
So this is the notes section of the phone. Many of the phones come equipped with a place you can write down notes and thoughts as a standard part of the phone. So in the notes section of the phone, on February 19th, 2020, at 11:53 a.m. local time in Colorado. So this was actually 1:53 p.m. When the defendant did this in her local time out in South Carolina.
1:53 p.m. You mean?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, at 1:53 p.m.
Okay.
So there's a 2-hour time difference between Mountain Time and East Coast time. And so the title of the note is, in the case involving missing child.
Tisha sleep, yeah.
Do you intend on ...
So to have a note like this created, does this require effort on the part of the phone user to
Yes.
put this information in there?
It does. You have to launch the note section and begin typing and filling out.
So that title, would that be something that the phone would create the title to be, or would that be something that the user of the phone actually typed in?
It could be either or. If the user did not type in a title, it'll grab the first several characters of the first paragraph and just put that in as the title.
So regardless, though, the text of that would still be something that the phone user would have to put in? Is that what you're telling us?
That's correct.
Scrolling down to the mid portion of the left side of that page, tell the jury what we're looking at there and why it's important.
So the source, that's the note section. It tells you where this is coming from on the phone. The extraction type, there's a few different ways to download a phone. This extraction was done using advanced logical. It's not important. The next is the source file. It's the path of how to get to this note section in the phone.
And then now we're at the bottom of the left side of that page. Tell the jury what they're looking at there.
The defendant typed in under the summary of this note, telling the truth, ?
And using Safari.
Yes.
Moving over.
Okay, y'all. What I got to do here, Real Deals. I got to stop right here, Real Deals, and because I got to go to work. But I'm checking, and then what I do when I get off, I'll come back and catch up. Okay, I apologize for this, but y'all see Tisha over there sleeping. Oh Lord, have mercy. Ooh, Tisha over there asleep, y'all. Bless her heart. But y'all have a good day and a good afternoon. And have a good afternoon. And what I do is come back in when I get out from work and we'll play catch up, okay? And we'll talk about Letecia day 17. All right, y'all. I'm out.